Welcome to Verba English. Learn and enjoy.
One introduction. This is a story about big ideas. It is about trying to do things that seem impossible. Sometimes people have very big dreams. These dreams can be exciting, but they can also be very hard to make real. When you try something new and very big, you often have many problems. This story looks at one of these big dreams and the problems that come with it. The story is about a person who is well known around the world. He is famous for building new and interesting things. He has big plans for the future. One of his biggest plans is about space. He wants to travel far away from Earth. To do this, he is building a very, very large rocket. This rocket is special because it is much bigger than many other rockets. It is a new kind of machine for going into space. Building a rocket like this is a very difficult job. It costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time. There are many tests to do. Sometimes these tests do not go well. The rocket does not work as planned. This is part of trying to build something new and complicated. When things do not work, you have to try again. You have to learn from your mistakes. Many people are watching this project. People all over the world are interested in space and in this big rocket. They want to see if it will work. Important leaders in different countries are also watching. For example, in the United States, the president is interested in space travel. President Trump has talked about space and about going to other planets. So, people like President Trump are watching this big new rocket very closely. This story will tell you more about this big dream. It will tell you about the challenges and the problems. It will show how difficult it is to build something so big and powerful. It will show what happens when things do not go right during tests. It will also explain why important people and countries are watching this project. This is a story about trying to reach for the stars and how hard that can be. 2. Mars is a big dream. Elon Musk has a very big idea. He dreams of a future where people do not just live on one planet, Earth. He wants humans to live on Mars too. This is a huge goal, a dream for everyone to become an interplanetary species. It means living on more than one planet in space. To make this dream real, he is building a very special and very large spaceship. This spaceship has a name, Starship. Starship is not like other rockets. It is made to travel far into space, all the way to Mars. It is designed to carry many people and a lot of things needed to start a new life on another planet. The plan is for Starship to take the first people to Mars. This is not a plan for the far future, many years from now. The idea is to do this quite soon. Maybe people can travel to Mars on Starship as early as the year 2028. That is only a few years away. Going to Mars is a very difficult trip. It is very far. The conditions on Mars are hard for people to live in. So building a spaceship that can go there safely and carry everything needed is a very big job. Starship must be very strong and very reliable. This goal to send people to Mars by 2028 is very ambitious. It requires new technology and a lot of hard work. Many people think it is an exciting idea. Living on Mars would be a big step for humans. It is a future that Elon Musk wants to build, and Starship is the machine he is building to try and make it happen. It is a dream that needs a very big ship and a lot of courage. 3. The spaceship falls. Building a big spaceship like Starship is a very hard job. It needs many tests. These tests help people learn how the spaceship works. They need to make sure it can fly safely. Safe flights are very important, especially if people will fly inside one day. One important test happened. This was the 9th time Starship tried to fly high. The people watched to see what would happen, but during this test, the spaceship did not work as planned. Something went wrong after it went high into the sky. The spaceship started to move in a strange way. It did not fly straight. Instead, it spun around and around. It was out of control. The test flight did not finish successfully. The spaceship fell down. This happened over the water in a place called the Indian Ocean. This test failure was not the first one for Starship. It was the 3rd time in a row that a big test did not go as planned. The spaceship has not even flown completely around the Earth yet. This is a necessary step before it can go to places like Mars. Because Starship has not yet flown around the Earth and has had test problems, the big dream of going to Mars seems more difficult. The idea of sending people to Mars soon feels further away right now. Every test gives information, even when it fails. But 3 failures in a row show that there are big problems to fix. Making Starship work right is a very big challenge. The people working on it must learn from these tests to make the spaceship safe and ready for the future. 4. Try and try again. Elon Musk talks a lot about trying things quickly. He says it is okay if they do not work perfectly the first time. He believes you learn much more when things go wrong than when they go right easily. This idea is sometimes called fail fast. It means you build something, test it, learn quickly from any problems, and then try again better. This way of working has been very important for his company, SpaceX. Using this idea helped SpaceX make good rockets in the past. The Falcon 9 rocket is now very successful. When SpaceX first tested the Falcon 9, they had problems, especially with landing the rocket back on Earth. The early tests failed, but the engineers studied why. They learned from each problem. They used this knowledge to make the rocket better. After many tests that did not work, they learned how to land the Falcon 9 successfully. This history shows that learning from trying and failing over and over can lead to success. But Starship is different from the Falcon 9. It is much, much bigger. It is the biggest rocket ever built. It is also designed to do completely new things, like landing on other planets and coming back. This makes it much more complex and harder to build and test than the Falcon 9 was. The problems they face with Starship are bigger. The tests are also very expensive and difficult. When a Starship test flight does not go as planned, it is a big event. These problems make some people ask if this new project is too hard. Even for SpaceX, they wonder if the idea of fail fast can work for something as large, complex, and expensive as Starship. Is it possible to learn fast enough when the tests are so difficult and take so much time and money? Is it too big a challenge, even for someone like Elon Musk, who has built big companies and amazing technology before? Elon Musk has a reputation for making big promises about when new technology will be ready. Sometimes his projects take longer than he first says they will. But in the end, he often makes the technology work. He made electric cars that many people use. His company, SpaceX, changed the space industry with rockets that can land back on Earth. These were also very hard things to do. Now, with Starship, the challenge seems even bigger. The tests are showing just how difficult it is to build and fly this giant machine. They are learning with each test, just as the fail-fast idea says they should. They learn from the parts that work and the parts that do not work. They use this information to make the next version of Starship better. So, the work continues at SpaceX. They build, they test. Something does not work perfectly, they learn, they try again. This is the plan. It is the same plan that worked for other SpaceX rockets like the Falcon 9. But the question remains, will this plan work for Starship? Is this project too big, too complex for even this famous way of learning and building? Only time and many more tests will provide the answer. It is a story about pushing the limits of what is possible and facing very hard problems, about the belief that you must try and try again to reach a very big dream. 5. Rockets cost money. To make going to space less expensive, rockets must fly more than one time. Imagine using an airplane many times. It is cheaper than building a new one for every trip. Rockets need to be like this too. This idea is very important for companies that want to send things or people to space often. Starship is made with this idea in mind. It is designed so that its parts can be used again. This is a big plan to lower the cost of space travel a lot. If the rockets can land safely after a trip to space, they can be checked and then sent up again. This saves a lot of money compared to building a new rocket every single time. But making rockets that can be used again is very difficult. It needs many tests. During one test, a large part of the Starship system was used. This part is called the Super Heavy Booster. It is like the first, biggest stage of the rocket that pushes the ship into space. This Super Heavy Booster had been used before. The test was to see if it could work again and land. The booster went up into the sky well. It did its job to help the Starship reach space. But the hard part was coming back down. When the Super Heavy Booster tried to land on Earth, something went wrong. It exploded. This showed that making rockets reusable is still a big challenge. Engineers are working hard to fix this. Building and testing rockets as big as Starship and Super Heavy costs a lot of money. Each test, especially if something breaks, means more money is needed to build new parts or fix old ones. This testing takes a long time and uses many resources. The high cost of the Starship program is a worry for some people. These are people who have put money into Elon Musk's companies. They see that a lot of money is needed for these difficult tests. They think about how much money is being spent on Starship. They worry if this big cost might affect Elon Musk's other businesses, like his car company. It is expensive to chase such a big dream as building a reusable rocket system for space travel. 6. A trip to the moon. The United States government also has big plans for space. They want to explore space more. NASA is the space agency for the United States. NASA has a very important goal. They want to send American astronauts back to the moon. This is a big step for space travel. NASA hopes to send people to the moon by the year 2030. To do this, NASA needs a very strong and big spaceship. They plan to use Starship for this mission. Starship is important for NASA's plan to return to the moon. It is needed to carry the astronauts and equipment. However, Starship is still being built and tested. There have been problems and delays with the tests. Starship is not yet ready to fly to the moon. It has not even flown around the Earth one time yet. These delays are a problem for NASA. If Starship is not ready in time, NASA might need help from other companies. There are other companies that build rockets and spaceships. One of these companies is called Blue Origin. It is owned by Jeff Bezos. Blue Origin is also working on its own space projects. NASA must think about its plans. If Starship continues to have problems and delays, NASA may need to ask Blue Origin or other companies for help. This shows that building new spaceships is very hard. It takes a lot of time and work. The plan to go back to the moon depends on powerful and ready spaceships. 7. Rockets for a strong country. Starship is a very large and powerful rocket. Its design allows it to lift extremely heavy objects into orbit around the Earth and even further into space. This ability to carry big and heavy payloads is one of its main features. It is not common for rockets to lift so much weight. This special capability is very useful for the country's security and defense. A country must be strong to protect its people and its land. Building strong defense systems is part of this. Some of the most modern defense systems need to be placed in space. Space is a good place to watch for dangers from far away and to put systems that can react quickly to protect the country. For example, imagine a system that can stop rockets that might attack the country. This kind of system is sometimes called a missile defense shield. President Trump, when he was president, talked about an idea like this, sometimes called a golden dome. This shield would need many large pieces of equipment working together high above the Earth, forming a protective layer. To build such a large and complex shield, you need to transport very heavy parts from Earth up to space. These parts can be very big, like large sensors or parts for weapons systems. This is where Starship's power is important. It can carry the large and heavy components needed for a space-based defense system. If Starship can do this reliably and often, it can make building these big defense projects possible or easier. Using Starship to lift heavy parts could help the country build strong protection systems in space. This makes Starship more than just a way to travel to other planets. It can be a tool for national safety and defense. The plan is that Starship can lift these heavy things quickly and perhaps at a lower cost than older rockets. This would help the country build the systems it needs to stay safe. A strong country requires strong defenses, and the ability to put heavy things into space is needed for some of the newest defense ideas. Starship's heavy lifting power can help meet this need. It shows that the work on Starship has uses not just for exploring faraway places, but also for helping the country stay safe right here on Earth. The ability to lift heavy things is a key part of this. It supports big projects for defense. These projects are important for the future safety of the country and its people. Starship's potential role in this area is significant. 8. The future is hard. Elon Musk is a person known around the world. Many people know him because he builds new and important technology. He often says that new things will be ready very soon. Sometimes, The things he promises take longer to build than he says. But even if it takes more time, he often finishes the project. He has built cars that use electricity and rockets that fly to space. These projects were very difficult, but he found ways to make them work. Now he is working on Starship. This is a very, very big project. Maybe it is the biggest and hardest project he has ever started. Building Starship and making it fly safely is a very large challenge. There are many things that make it hard. The technology itself is very new and complicated. It is not easy to build such a large machine that can go to space and come back many times. It needs many new parts and systems that must work together perfectly. Time is another problem. Building Starship takes a lot of time. Testing it takes even more time. Each test needs careful planning, and after a test, engineers must study what happened. If something goes wrong, they must fix it. This process of trying, learning, and fixing takes a long time. People who want to see Starship fly soon must be patient. Also, there are the rules of physics. Physics is the study of how the world and space work. Rockets must follow these rules. Things like gravity, speed, and heat are part of physics. Making a very big rocket fly high and fast and then land safely is very difficult because of these rules. You cannot change the rules of physics. You must build your machine to work with them. This story about Starship shows us something important. It shows how hard it is to chase very big dreams, like sending people to live on Mars. It is not simple or easy. There will be problems and things will go wrong. But from these problems, people can learn a lot. Each test, even if it does not go perfectly, teaches the engineers something new. They use this knowledge to make the rocket better. Building the future is a hard job. It needs a lot of work, money, and time. It needs people to keep trying, even when things are difficult. Starship is a good example of this. It is a dream that is very hard to reach, but trying to reach it teaches many lessons about technology, patience, and the power of trying again and again.